Hi, welcome to Future Technos. The Nikon Z90 has already sparked more discussion than most cameras do even after launch. That alone says something. People are not only curious, they are hungry for it. They are imagining what it will look like, how it will perform, and what it will mean for Nikon's future. And the more people talk, the more powerful the buzz becomes. Why does this one model attract so much attention? To answer that, we need to go back a little. Nikon has been on a long journey with mirrorless cameras. When they first entered the market, they faced a wall of doubt. Sony had already built a strong lead, pushing hard into full-frame mirrorless and convincing many professionals that the future was already here. Canon had started shifting resources into its own mirrorless system, ensuring they would not be left behind. Nikon, though respected as a giant in the DSLR era, suddenly found itself needing to prove everything all over again. They had to convince people that they were not just reacting, but leading. The Z system became the tool for that comeback. First came the Z6 and Z7. These were strong entries designed to compete directly with Sony's popular full-frame models. The Z6 was balanced for general use, delivering solid performance at a reasonable price. The Z7 leaned more toward resolution, appealing to landscape and studio photographers who wanted detail above all else. Both cameras showed that Nikon was serious. They were not just testing the waters. They were fully invested in mirrorless, determined to shape the new era rather than fall behind in it. Then came the Z9, and that camera was a turning point. It was big. It was bold. It was professional in every way. It had no mechanical shutter, advanced autofocus powered by deep learning, and high-resolution video options that shocked even longtime Nikon fans. The Z9 became a new standard almost overnight. Photographers in sports, wildlife, and media adopted it quickly. Many said it matched or even beat the flagship DSLRs that came before it, cameras like the D5 and D6. It was not just a replacement. It was a leap forward. Not long after, Nikon introduced the Z8. This model gave much of the Z9's power in a smaller body. It was easier to carry, more affordable, and instantly appealed to creators who wanted performance without the bulk of a flagship. The Z8 quickly became a favorite for hybrid shooters who needed both photo and video without compromise. Together, the Z9 and Z8 proved that Nikon could build top-class mirrorless systems. These steps showed that Nikon was fully committed. But in all of this progress, there was one missing piece: APS-C. Yes, Nikon had the Z50 and later the ZFC. These cameras were stylish and fun. The ZFC in particular turned heads with its retro design, a modern camera dressed in vintage clothes. It was attractive to casual shooters and hobbyists who loved the nostalgic look. But when it came to advanced features, they did not go far enough. No in-body stabilization, limited burst speeds, basic autofocus compared to the flagship models. Enthusiasts liked them, but professionals looked elsewhere. For many photographers, especially those who shoot wildlife or sports, APS-C has always been attractive. The smaller sensor brings a crop factor, which makes telephoto lenses feel more powerful. A 300mm lens becomes like 450mm. A 400mm lens feels like 600mm. For subjects that are far away, that extra reach matters a lot. It is the difference between getting a usable frame and missing the shot. But without a professional APS-C mirrorless body from Nikon, shooters were left with a choice. Either stay with entry-level APS-C bodies like the Z50 or ZFC, or pay more for full-frame models like the Z6 or Z8. There was no bridge in between. Canon filled that gap with the R7. Fujifilm built an entire system around APS-C and kept pushing it with models like the XH2 and XH2S. Sony continued updating its A6000 line, keeping strong options for crop sensor shooters. Nikon, however, stayed quiet, and that silence made people wonder. Would Nikon ever give APS-C the attention it deserved? This is why the Z90 feels so significant. It is not just a new model. It is Nikon's chance to finally bring APS-C into the professional mirrorless world. Many people see it as the true successor to the legendary D500. That DSLR was beloved for its speed, toughness, and reliability. Wildlife and sports shooters swore by it. The Z90 has the potential to bring that same spirit into modern times. A mirrorless D500 in every sense. That is what the community wants, and that is what Nikon has a chance to deliver. So, what exactly do we expect from the Z90? The first big point is the sensor. Rumors suggest a 33-megapixel APS-C sensor. That number already stands out. It is higher than the 24-megapixel standard most APS-C cameras have used for years. Going to 33 megapixels shows ambition, It tells us Nikon wants to compete directly with Canon's R7 and Fujifilm's X-H2, both of which already pushed resolution higher. Nikon cannot afford to stay behind in this area. Higher resolution means more detail. It allows photographers to crop tighter without losing quality. It makes large prints look better. It gives video creators more room to work with oversampling. A 33-megapixel sensor can create very sharp 4K video because the footage is taken from more data before being reduced down. But higher resolution also comes with a challenge. Smaller pixels can mean worse low-light performance. More noise, less dynamic range at high ISO. The big question is whether Nikon can balance this trade-off. That is where the processor comes in. If the Z90 uses the latest Xpeed 7, the same processor that powers the Z8 and Z9, then we can expect strong performance. The processor can handle heavy data loads, apply intelligent noise reduction, and deliver fast readout speeds. Combined with Nikon's proven color science, the results could still be excellent. And color science matters more than many people realize. Nikon has always been praised for natural tones, accurate skin colors, and pleasing contrast. If the Z90 keeps that tradition, its files will look good straight out of the camera. For creators who want to spend less time editing, that is a big win.